And now it's time to sip the coffee and spill the tea on Talking with 3D Live. Here's your host, Derrick Dixon.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another exciting episode of Talking with 3D Live. I'm your host, Derrick Dixon, and this is where we always sip the coffee and spill the tea. And today, we're going to be spilling some good old tea today. But before we do it, do me a big favor. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button. Click it, love it, share it, do all those things. Make sure that everybody is watching Talking with 3D. We're here every Monday, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. So tell a friend, tell your family to check out Talking with 3D. It's an iRose Film production. But today, we've got the one and only Dr. Renée Garner is here. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me today. I am so excited that you're here.
I am excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes,
this is amazing.
And we have Rio is here. Rio Harrington
yes,
is
nice to
here. Nice to meet you,
yes,
sir.
I'm excited to be here.
I am excited for you to be here. And we're going to be talking. Let me tell you this first, Renee.
Okay, sure.
Your name has actually flown through my show for quite a bit. We've mentioned Renée Garner right here on Talking with 3D. So a lot of people that I have interviewed right here in this spot, right here in this room, we've all had some type of connection. And Renée Garner's name has always been within that circle. So it's really funny, but it's always nice of how we're connected all in some way. You know, and it feels good. It feels good because when people can say your name and it can brighten the space and things like that, it's always nice. So your name has actually been mentioned. So for my viewers, you can now see the Renée Garner that we always have been talking about is here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The beautiful thing about what you just said is, the highest honor is when people are talking about you when you're not in the room. People are mentioning your name when you're not in the room. When they're saying things about you when you're not in the room. And that's the highest honor. It says a lot about the person, right? And so I love the fact that you came back and shared that with me because I will continue to support and do everything that I'm doing for my family, my friends, the people that I get to just connect and just share. Because that's what it's all about, is just sharing.
It's just sharing. And, I have been watching a lot of social media because that's, I push my shows and everything on social media. So I see so many things on social media and what people are doing. And so much lately is so much violence and fighting and everything on social media. And it's so nice that we can share something positive, something that we have passion for, something that we care for. And even though the message, what we're going to be talking about today, the man monster, may deal with a certain topic, but it's to get a message across.
Absolutely.
And it's to help somebody. And that's what we do as writers, as directors. And I want to tell my viewers a little bit more about Dr. Renée Garner, if you don't mind.
I don't mind. Let me pick up
We're going to sip the tea. That's what we're going to do. We're going to sip the tea. So would you like to sip the tea with us?
Of course, I would.
Yeah. We'll do what they say, a three-way. That's
do it.
That's what we're doing. So Dr. Renée Garner, she's an internationally known best-selling author. She's a visionary, playwright, director, a producer whose creative mission began with a book, The Man Monster, which became the blueprint for the well-known stage play that uses humor, gospel, raw truth, and to tackle the hard topic of domestic violence. The Man Monster. Yeah. And you've done so much more. You have your nonprofit that you've worked with. You go out and you speak to not just women, but to young women and into what a lot of people don't realize, or you may not even realize, that our young boys hear what you have to say. So I think that's powerful and something that is amazing. And then we have Rio. Rio is here. He's the new voice in theater. And it's always nice to see new voices in theater, especially people that we haven't worked with. Here in Baltimore, in Maryland, the circle is so small. And it's nice to see fresh faces, because fresh faces bring new audiences, and that's what we need. So he is stepping into the spotlight. He has the heart, the passion, and undeniable passion for theater, for acting. So welcome
Thank you.
to Talking with 3D. I'm glad to see that you're here and to hear your story, because everyone has a story of how we began and where we want to go.
Yeah, I just always liked the arts. I mean, like writing, performing. Been performing maybe for about 20 years, but it's more music, stuff like that. I love movies. I love plays, things of that nature, and I just always kind of wanted to get in the industry, just never knew how.
Yeah.
And I always just, I talked to myself and just, I guess I visioned it, and I met someone that was in a play that's playing Gloria in the play in the parking lot of where I live at.
Okay.
And she kind of heard me like just singing, like playing around. She was like, "Hey, you got a nice voice. Why don't you just come down and try out for Lance or try out for the play?" And I did, and by the grace of God, they
met T. Renee Garner, and that's where it started.
That's where it started. And I'm glad I met Miss T. Renee Garner, because she got a vision. She made it come true, and I just want to do what's best for the play and help her out.
Well, Dr. T. Renee Garner, let's talk about that vision.
Okay, let's go.
Let's talk about that vision. So you wrote a book, and then you have a vision for this stage play.
Yes.
The Man Monster. And it deals with domestic violence. And dealing with that is, telling this story. Is it telling your story? Is it telling people that you may know? What is it that you're telling in The Man Monster?
So I'm on your show. So I'm going to spill the tea.
Okay.
I'm going to spill the tea. And before I do, I just want to give a big shout out to Riando, because when he came in, he absolutely nailed the read.
Thank you.
And just went through, and his dedication is incredible. I mean, listen, we have a lot of talent.
Yeah.
And walking with Rio has just made the play a lot more easier to just know that he's consistent, always there. He's a great performer. But more specifically, he's dedicated, and that's what we want in him.
And that's a great thing to have in an actor, is dedication. It's dedication. Yeah. And I will go to your question about the play, the vision. The vision of the play was literally 10 months in. And so honestly, just thinking about domestic violence, it is an absolutely dark, where's the camera? Dark secret that most people don't want to talk about. But we all know someone who smelt it, felt it, had it in their homes, seen it, auntie, cousin, daughter, someone that have been through domestic violence. And the levels of domestic violence are different in every household or every situation. And so when I went through my first relationship, it was I owned a beauty salon. I had all the characters in the play in the salon. We had such an amazing time. And honestly, no one wanted to tell me all the things that was going on behind the scene because I was carrying our child. But as soon as I had our child, it was like every time you turn around, it was some new news that were coming up, and we didn't want to tell you because you were pregnant. And can you imagine just having
a business, a thriving business with two dynamic business people, and one of them wasn't happy in the relationship and they failed to tell the other one. That happens all the time. But the things that lead up to the next things, because of that conversation not happening, there was hurtful things that happened, and all of that led up to the abuse, the neglect, the verbal abuse. And so as a way of separating, once I was like, I'm not dealing with it, I'm gone.
Right.
I would meet people who had different stories. Like I was hurt and I was trying to share my story as a way of projecting, like, oh my God, this happened. And you get to just conversing with someone and they have a story. And I was like, let me pick up my story.
Right.
Your story is a little bad. But everybody had these stories that were just always connected. And I wanted to heal, but I couldn't heal because I'm the talker that heals. So I began to write to heal. And so I would ask for 10 years, Mommy, why didn't you tell me what to do when my man turned into a monster, right? And Mama said, because me and Daddy's still together.
We were together. And I love that you said that, because the fact that women look to their moms and think, you didn't teach me how to be this. You didn't teach me how to be a wife. You didn't teach me what to do in a marriage if something happens. You didn't teach me that. And like you just said, a lot of older women would have said, well, we just dealt with it.
Baby, we still together.
Yeah.
My parents are alive today.
Yeah.
Still alive in their 80s, and they have been married for 58 years. So we still together. We don't live. I mean, my dad is the father figure that worked hard.
Right.
Mama, daycare, we had businesses going on in the house, And so that's what I know. Okay, so the business experience to be in business with my significant other at that time was nothing foreign. I knew we were going to be successful, right?
Yeah.
I knew that. But it was the blatant, upfront, hurtful things that would be done. It would be things that, and I'll just give you just a snippet of what's in the book. And the book is in a beauty shop theme, so it's kind of funny. I'm like, girl, let me tell you, this is just a conversation we're having. But the goal of the book is just to give red flags at the end of the book. And every time, every scene, every chapter, it's a 90-minute read. It's an easy book. It's small. It's just a little chapter that says, okay, now this is what you can do. Right? But you're laughing through the book and you're enjoying it. So a little snippet was I probably didn't notice. I'm so busy trusting and believing. And so I remember one time where my client was sitting in this chair. I am a licensed cosmetologist, and so are they, the other party. And they reached over to get something from my station like this in front of the client and said, I like your lipstick. Now, listen, I'm right here.
Right.
And I ain't even here. And I'm like, what? You said what? And then she was appalled. And I'm like, you did that? Why'd you? And I'm trying to justify that behavior. And those are the little subtle things that you kind of put up with it. Her lipstick is real pretty. We're in the same industry. So you could be saying it or you could be flirting. And so it just got to the point where, so that's justified.
Right.
That's just absolutely unacceptable. Right. And so with that being said, things happened, and then it got bigger and bigger and bigger. And we were in the church and everybody knew us. So I decided to leave that situation. And so it was an aggressive leave, put it that way. And in Montgomery County, which is where I was at the time, I went through all of the things that I lay out for domestic violence. You go to court, you have your say in court. Both parties have their say. There's domestic groups that you get together with other people, and they're trying to figure out how to pick up the pieces of their life. I mean, those are actual things that I went through. And it's all documented, right? Everything I'm saying is documented legally. And still, I have to now regroup, close a business, market crashed, no job.
Right.
So what am I going to do with a new baby?
Right.
And so I had to pick up the pieces over and over again and just make it happen. I knew I didn't want to be in that situation. And so things worked out for me, that I was able to get back into the government. And that's where I kind of landed. But honestly, 10 years later, a different relationship. See, those things that are not addressed from the front will come back in the past. So you have to go and address those things
before you get into something.
Come on now.
Yeah.
And so with that being said, a whole different relationship in an entirely new field that I enjoyed. I wasn't seeing them every day. It was like dating, it was a great relationship. And 4 years later, in this relationship, a different man monster showed up that I was not aware of.
Mm-hmm.
Believe it or not, this man monster put the vision into motion. This man monster left me at the hospital with a newborn baby and act like I was a one-night stand, which is what the conversation was. That's a sipping tea and all the stuff that people don't talk about. And so from that one, I reached out to Washington Post because he was saying, I'm in town. I was right here. I was away taking care of my daughter for this domestic violence situation. And there was something that happened in the Washington Post, true story, that said this person's name was here. And they were giving a testimony. And I saw it in the paper. And I was like, wait a minute, you said X, Y, Z. So first man monster, second man monster. First one was verbally and physically. Second one was just, I don't know, crazy. right. Like it was just a lot going. It was just too many personalities.
Okay.
And with that being said, I emailed the news reporter and just asked the question, were they here, were they not? Now, this is a Washington Post syndication. And so Washington Post do not do third-party interviews. It's all face-to-face.
Right.
So in that moment, that nice reporter just replied back and says, I'm sorry, we do not do third party. That person was here. They were not out of town.
Okay.
So the day that I gave birth to my son, they were here, in the area, chose not to show up. I slipped into comatose, and baby boy is in the hospital, in NICU. That's right. That is where, when I came through and got healed and understood what was going on, that's where I was like, wait a minute, I need to figure out what to do.
So we get into this pattern, excuse me, and I'm going to say a lot of women get into this pattern because of the fact, like you say, you weren't healed from the first relationship. You just thought they were gone. I have moved on, still carrying that same baggage. And just carried it to the next relationship. So what you were attracted to first still had that attraction.
Absolutely. And the signs wasn't readily available for the second one. The signs were there, they were available. They just changed their mind and forgot to tell me again.
Right.
And so, but here's
but
the thing.
They forgot to tell you the signs. Right. I'm about to do this to you. And you just don't know yet.
Good to tell me beforehand.
Wow.
Before the baby. But here's the thing that I learned is with what love is and what love is not. I realized that the man monster that I thought was just this man that was hitting his wife. That's possession, obsession, and depression, right? Because it leads you to depression. But here's what's real. This mental health month, right? Here's what's real. There are signs that was there that you're talking about that was just not known.
Yeah.
And those signs look like the arguments, easily angered, wrongdoing, holding, grudges, right? Those are the things that are not love. But we so many times ignore those because it feels like, oh, they love me.
Yeah.
Oh, they so cute, they want me.
Right.
But for someone to literally say, remember what you did in 2002, wait a minute, I can't remember what I did yesterday, so can you not hold that over my head, please? And that's not love.
Rio, you played Lance in The Man Monster, who is the abuser.
Yes.
Physically, mentally. What do you think as far as a man being, the man monster in a situation? And how do you tap into playing this role?
Well, I grew up, this was me, my mom and my sisters. So I believe my mom instilled in me, the correct ways, taught me right from wrong and what to do and not to do in life and how to love people and how to care about people and how to be empathetic. So I never condone of a man putting his hand on a woman, but I would never condone it, but I'm also not in other people's relationships and I'm on the outside looking in. So I can't really judge a person, but I can try to help them, try to give them knowledge to learn from their mistakes.
Right.
And try to give my knowledge that my mom gave me to other men and try to help them out. How I tap into it, I just try to take all my emotions and everything I learned in life, even the relationships I've been in. And like I said, I'm not perfect. And the times that, I maybe forgot what my mom said in that moment, you know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I just take my life lessons and my emotions and everything I learned and try to put it into the curtain. But like I said, I've experienced domestic violence from, seeing it, sitting on the outside looking in, and it's kind of hard, I think, to get people out of that situation, because it's kind of like a cycle and they don't see the cycle, because you see it, but they don't really see it.
Right.
So it's kind of hard to, when I was younger, I'd probably be like, why don't you just leave? You know what I'm saying? But
so let me, not to interrupt you, because I had an interview a couple weeks ago. I had a young lady just sitting right here and talking about domestic violence. And other people can see the situation. They can't see it, or they don't want to see it. T. Renee, how, and you may have been in this situation. You didn't see it, but we on the outside looking, we see it.
Listen, I was confident. See, I figured if you don't want me and you think you got something better on the other side, and I say it all the time and I still say it to this day, you can leave. You ain't got to do all that, right? We don't have to be arguing, fighting, or, you really want to put your hands on me because guess what? I'm a good thing.
Right.
And I know it.
Right.
And so with that being said, it's insecurities on that person's part, right?
Okay.
So I didn't see it because I'm all that. And I thought really, I wasn't, I'm the brainwender, I'm the creator, I'm the one that make it all happen. So in that situation, that person didn't, even though they were great in their lane, they're excellent in their genius. They wanted my world, right? And I wanted to bring the worlds together. That's where the marriage is. So if that's what we're doing, then yeah, let's do it. But if I want to do what you're doing and you want to do what I'm doing, then we just need to switch spaces, right? To have a conversation. But you can't be over here and do everything in a relationship. I always say that. So if you not happy, then let me know. But I'm a good cat, so you don't want to let go, but you want your cake and eat it too.
So it wasn't of low self-esteem, nothing like that. It was just the simple fact that it wasn't connecting.
It wasn't connecting, right? They wasn't able to stand up on their own 2 feet, right?
Gotcha.
And so that's why I didn't see it. So you got some women that say, well, I'll take them even if they, a trash man, right? And that's okay if that's where love is. Yeah. But once that person want to be on the other side, somebody got to be the breadwinner, somebody got to be, right? Somebody got to take care of the kids, okay? And so if that is the situation, then that's okay. But when the truck driver want to be you, that's not gonna work, and control you, that's not gonna work. I mean, there is a lot of women that do make more money and are the breadwinners, but they know how to bring it down. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I like to say I know how to bring it down, but maybe, maybe.
Listen.
But to your point, let's talk really about what domestic violence does. Somebody doesn't have the money. Somebody has the food. Somebody has the substance. So if I need you for all my stuff, you get to control me. Why? Because I'm just totally dependent on you.
Right.
And that's where the control is. There has got to be a level of confidence that you can build this woman up. Even when she's leaning on you. She got the baby, so she needs to lean on you. So the man has to step up. Vice versa, same situation.
Right.
If the woman is the strongest, she can have the baby, or the man could do, could take care of the baby. But when you have situations where you have, they look for vulnerabilities, right? You have no family support. You argue with your family. The family is, not close to you. You don't have enough money. There you are. You are a perfect target for any man predator or woman predator or whatever you want to call it. That's a perfect target to take away their self-esteem. Why? Maslow hierarchy.
Wow.
There you go. You got it?
Yeah.
You take away the food, the shelter, and you control it. Baby, you got me.
You got me. So you created the stage play, The Man Monster.
Yes.
What is the message that you want to get out to the public? You've made it, you've got all type of things going on with it. You got comedy, you have, gospel in it, you have singing in it. What is the message, the true message that you want people to get from this stage play?
Well, the Man Monster is going to show in June 13th, 14th at Chesapeake Arts Center. That's an area that has a lot of calls in for domestic violence in the area in Anne Arundel County, especially in Maryland. The message that I would like for anyone to take away is when you see the play, come have fun laughing, but know that it's really going on.
Right.
And when you go home, have that conversation with your family. It could be your child, your daughter, your son, but it's a good way to talk about, hey, let me tap in. Are any boys doing this thing at school,
Right.
and then just talk about what it looked like. So, because in fact, there might be some behaviors that are going on that you can take an opportunity to just care for your family and then teach them, so we won't have that question of why nobody told me what it looks like. But here it is. It's a fun environment to come out, have some fun, laugh, and be like, oh Lord.
Right.
Create that conversation in a safe space in your own home.
One thing that you already said that's very important is the conversation piece. Because even maybe in your situation, the young lady I had met before, in that the conversation normally is not there. And that's what the hard part is how do we start this conversation? Who do we trust to have this conversation? What does that look like?
So it's your family, Ray. It's Inspiring Generations is a direct output of Enterprises, the nonprofit, IGEinc.org. And what we do there is help people heal from the other side. They're not really into the forefront of I'm stuck in the house. They're on the other side because it's all mental. So the tools that we have, they have the children that they need to take care of. So when you talk about finances rebuilding, you talk about, a safe place for your child to just come and talk backpacks donation that we're calling for this particular venture at June 13th or 14th. We're asking for raising money for backpacks. So the conversation is at home because that's the place where mom is, at home with her child. But there is a space where she's super busy. And so we're just making it easier, or just literally take the time to come out with an open mind. And if you're going through domestic violence or still in the end of the trauma, there's a support system for mom or her. And then for your children, there's a place where they can come and there's other people there for us. So the conversation is at home and in a safe space that you can address with. And I'm hoping that they find IGE, Inspiring Generations Enterprise, a safe space for them to come to. And that's the sole reason why it was created. It wasn't created when I first started running the plays. It is created, IGE is created for the entire being of someone that's seen the play, that are going through, that have tried churches, that have tried their family, that have tried these other aid organizations. Maybe they make too much funds for that organization. Maybe they age out of it. They can have a safe space. It's so important to land.
Listen, because I don't want to run out of time. I want, because I know Rio is here, and he's playing Lance in the stage play. I had the pleasure of playing Reese in the stage play. Loved playing Reese in the stage play. And again, T. Renee allowed me to bring in building the style of who Reese is. She gave me the foundation of who Reese is and says, now, build the style of Reese. So I loved it.
I seen that play. You did a hell of a job.
Thank you. So can you give us a bit of what we'll see in The Man Monster?
Sure.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah.
Sure.
And action.
I was thinking of going to the store the other day, but I didn't have what I needed. Can I have some money, please? Because you have all the money. You have everything. I have nothing.
You know what?
What?
Here, Renee. You know what? Take this 20 right here.
20?
Yeah.
That's not going to buy us food. $20 don't
Look,
go.
it's enough. Look, listen.
Look,
Go put 10 in the tank.
Can I talk, please?
Look, 10 in the tank. Go to like Chick-fil-A and get you like a Cobb salad or something. You need something healthy because all the cheesecake and all the red velvet cake, you getting way too big, Renee.
Red velvet cheesecake.
Oh my God, like Renee, it's too much right now. It's too much. I can't take it. I just can't take it.
And that's The Man Monster. Thank you.
Yeah, that was just a little freestyle.
That's good. That's what you're supposed to do. So The Man Monster, we're looking forward to everybody to see it. And they can find the information on your
www.themanmonster.com. Themanmonster.com.
I am looking forward for everybody to come out and see The Man Monster.
We want Man Monster to be a household name.
Yes.
We want them to be like, you're acting like a man monster.
Yeah.
That's where we are.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what we want.
Right. Well, I want to thank you once again for coming out and being with me. I know there's so much more to talk about and everything. I do want you to just real quick, 30 seconds, if you can just look into your camera and just tell our young girls what is so important right now as far as talking to their parents, talking to their peers, talking to their school teachers. Why is it so important?
Yes. So if young ladies, it's so important for yourself, your future self, that you address who you are now. Your identity is important. You are an amazing woman. Talk to your mom. You're not going to like what she says. She's not going to be understanding, so you think. But trust me, she understands. She will never leave you nor forsake you. Speak with your mom. Be open for what she has to say. Write down those things and definitely go for your goals because you do matter.
Go for your goals because you do matter. So please make sure, young ladies, go out there, speak to your mothers. And I don't know what your relationships are, mend them. Come together because of the fact that you are the next generation. So I thank you again for stopping by. Rio, thank you for stopping by.
Thank you.
And go out, you guys. Thank you again for watching Talking with 3D every Monday right here, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. And make sure that you subscribe, click it, love it, share it, do all those things and tell everybody about Talking with 3D. Go out, love somebody intentionally, and we'll see you next time. Peace.